What separates the business owners who grow from the ones who stay stuck financially?
I feel like the thing that I see the most is really just people that are disciplined and dedicated to their business.
All right, Miss Shaylisa, thank you so much for taking time again to hang out with me. I know you were at our co-living conference last month, which was awesome. I didn't even get to tell you afterwards. People were telling me that accountant was so awesome. I need to bring her to my church. And yeah, everybody was like, she was telling us stuff that even if you don't have a business, you need to know. So it was really good feedback. And I couldn't wait to ask you to come and have a conversation with me so that I could post it to my YouTube channel. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me, Katrina. I had a blast at the conference. It was such good information. I learned a lot, and then I'm glad that the attendees were able to learn a lot as well. So thank you again for thinking of
Yes.
me and for having me on your channel.
Awesome. I've been following you for a really long time. So I think, I don't even know what year it was. It was a few years ago that I came across you on Instagram. And then I started just like following your little tax tips and things. And I was like, she is really awesome. And I said, one day I'm going to be a coach and I'm going to have some event and she's going to come and speak. So that was like a dream come true for me. So
Oh,
can you
thank
tell us?
you. Thank
Can
you
you
so
tell
much.
us, like, so I know who you are. I know who you are. I don't know what you do, but for the rest of us, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Chalisa English, owner of Freedom Elite Accounting and Advisory. So I started my firm about almost 9 years ago now, and I started it with the goal to prevent small businesses from failing. I see so many business owners, they have these great ideas and they have such good intentions, and they start these businesses, and then 2 to 3 years later, they're having to close them down or they're no longer in service. So I kind of just always wanted to understand, like, why exactly is that happening? Like, what's going on? Like, they have a good service, they have a good product. Like, why is their business not sustaining? And majority of that time was financial problems. So whether it was cash flow or just different things in regards to finance. So that was really one of the main reasons why I got into this. It's just because I really wanted to help my community. I really wanted to help other business owners and really just see people be successful and thrive.
hmm Yeah, I think there are so many of us. There's a lot of people who I coach, and they're interested in opening this business because they're more the social entrepreneur, but they don't know a lot about finances. And it's not something that we are taught either. Like in high school, I don't remember learning a lot about finances. So I feel like there's a financial literacy issue with most people. Is that what you find too? It's like a
It
financial
is.
literacy.
It is because it's
Yeah.
like you said, in high school, we are not taught that. Not even college, unless you go into, business
No.
management or accounting, but we are not taught these things, and we should be taught about budgeting and taxes and how to manage your finances, but we're not. So it's already like a gap there between like graduating high school and wanting to start a business. It's already just such a wide gap of like the lack of information, that we have that we don't have.
hmm You know what else I like about you is that you're not only an accountant, but you're also a tax strategist, which there's a difference there, which I didn't even know because when I first started doing my business, I got myself an accountant. And so I would give him all of this is all my expenses that I had, this is my income, blah, blah, blah. And but he wasn't giving me any kind of strategy on what to do and how to maximize my profit. And then I would go on YouTube and watch different people and learn different strategies. And then I would go to my accountant and say, hey, I learned I could be doing this. Can I do this? And he'd say, yep. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me that I could be doing that? So can you talk a little bit about some of the biggest tax mistakes that new, especially people who are going into co-living, that new co-living or group home business owners make in their first year?
Absolutely. So I just want to add on to what you said in regards to your accounting not offer tax strategy, because it's a difference between a bookkeeper,
Mm,
a tax preparer, tax strategy. All these people have different titles for reasons because they all do different roles. So even with a bookkeeper is not going to offer you tax strategy. All they're going to do is manage the information that you give them, and an accountant is going to analyze it, and then the tax strategist is going to apply a strategy to the reports that the accountant gives them. So I think it's very
Mm,
important to kind of understand the role of each person, because that kind of keeps down on a confusion. Because that's a mistake that I do see a lot of people do, is that sometimes they'll just hire a tax preparer and not necessarily a tax strategist. So they'll just go to a tax preparer and say, hey, this is what I made, this is what I spent. And then again, they're not applying any tax strategy at all. And another mistake is that most business owners, they don't look at their numbers until it's tax season. So now
mm,
you're overwhelmed because here you go, have a year of data that you're trying to categorize now that it's April 15th, So that's
right.
one of the biggest mistakes, is that people don't pay enough attention to their finances, because if you're waiting until tax time to analyze your finances, it's too late.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
the number one
So
mistake, that people are just not taking enough time to look at their numbers.
Now, I know at the conference you had mentioned QuickBooks. I started off using QuickBooks. I loved QuickBooks. I was using it, but then I noticed that my accountant he liked the spreadsheet that I had where I was listing out everything that I was spending. He liked that better than my QuickBooks, and so I started just giving him that. But once we had the conference and you were talking about QuickBooks, it made me want to go back to using QuickBooks. So, what is I don't know if you have like a code or affiliate link or anything for QuickBooks, but what is the benefit for me? What is the benefit of using QuickBooks versus I just have a spreadsheet? I have a spreadsheet and
Yeah.
it has all the IRS categories on it.
Mhm.
And so I put down what my expense is. I use the drop down, which I created that has like the IRS category. But what is the benefit for me using QuickBooks though?
If QuickBooks is used correctly, it's a great tool. So that's maybe the reason why your accountant did prefer it, is maybe things were not set up in QuickBooks correctly.
Right.
Because if it's not set up,
Probably because I didn't know what I was doing.
yeah, so that may be the reason why he just preferred you to kind of, go old school with the spreadsheet, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's what works for you. But me personally, I just think the data in QuickBooks is much easier to analyze, especially once you connect your bank account and your business credit cards to QuickBooks. It's going to automatically pull those transactions into it. So that way you don't have to categorize it, because QuickBooks is going to automatically do it once you get those
Hmm.
things set up. And it's just easier to, reconcile it and just
Hmm.
have everything in one place versus having to log into 5 or 6 different accounts, depending on how many you have. It's easier to just log into QuickBooks and everything is right there on your dashboard.
Okay, okay. And now you got me thinking about the bookkeeper versus
Mhm.
the accountant versus the tax
Yeah.
strategist. So you are all three, right? Aren't you all three of those? Wow. So we could just go to you and have you help us with all of our business
Absolutely.
expenses.
Yeah, so I did not start out as all three, but just over the years of growing my business and seeing my clients' needs and trying to work with other bookkeepers or other tax strategists, it was just easier for me to become all three.
You're like, let
Me,
me just do it all.
let me just do it all myself. And it really became easier to handle everything in-house with me and my team. Because when I first started, I was just only doing tax preparation. And then that grew to, because I'm like, okay, you're my clients, you're bringing me these numbers. It's not making sense. So now let me do your book. So that way I know
Right.
that the numbers you give me are 100% accurate, because I did the bookkeeping, so I know these are accurate. So then once my clients' businesses started growing, I'm like, okay, now we need some tax strategy, because I don't want you to have a $20,000, $30,000 bill to the IRS. So now let's start applying
Mhm.
tax strategies and things like that. So I wasn't all three initially. It just kind of
Okay.
it grew to
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And there's certain, with tax strategy, there's so many different tax strategies. And it's just like every tax strategist or every accounting may not have the same method, or may not be as aggressive, or some are more on the conservative
Mhm.
side. So, like I said, it was just easier for me to just offer
Right.
packages, so that way everything is included, nothing is falling through the cracks, and we have a full picture on what exactly is going on with my client's business finances.
Mhm. So if I'm using QuickBooks, should I also have a bookkeeper, like a person who's my bookkeeper, or is that my bookkeeper?
So it kind of depends on like the level. that you are at in your business. If you have the time and the expertise to manage your own QuickBooks, then you can. Because again, QuickBooks is just an information system. So you still have to tell it what to do. Like, yes, all the
Hmm.
data is fed into it, but you still have to say, this needs to go here, this needs to go there. So if you feel like you don't
Okay.
have the knowledge or the expertise to do that, then yes, you can hire a bookkeeper to manage your QuickBooks, which is basically just the bookkeeping system. You still need someone to
Hmm.
operate the system. So yes, as a bookkeeper,
Got it.
I have all of my clients, they do have QuickBooks subscriptions, but I'm the one that's going in
Mm.
to categorize and reconcile the accounts and everything.
Mm. Okay. So I have three co-living homes that are in San Antonio, Texas, but I live in Los Angeles. And now I'm teaching other people how to open their co-living homes. So a lot of the people who come to me and a lot of the people who watch my content are brand new. And I bet they're thinking, well, I don't need to be concerned with any of that stuff because I'm new and I'm just starting out. So at what point should somebody stop treating their co-living business like a side hustle and start operating it like a real company, with documenting everything?
I think from day one, I think from day one, you should take it serious. I don't think you should ever treat it like a side hustle or just something that you're doing, especially if you're putting money into it. So from the moment that you spend $1, it's a business. From the moment that you bring in $1, it's a business. So I don't like the side hustle term. I do not like that. I just think that that puts people in a mind state of, oh, this is not something serious when it can be. Like, this
Right.
could be life-changing money. This can be money that you quit your 9 to 5 with. So that sounds like more than a side hustle to me. When I think of side
Hmm.
hustle, I think of like, oh, I'm braiding hair in my basement or something
Right.
super like not a co-living business. Like, no, that's major. That's not a side hustle. So I think
Hmm.
it's very important to have those things in place in the beginning, because I feel like how you start is how you finish. And it's easier to
Mm.
have these things in place on a smaller level. So that way, when you are scaling, when you are getting 3 homes, 5 homes, 10 homes, you already have these systems in place. So it's easy. It's already there versus now here you are bringing in $30,000, $40,000 a month, and you're trying to backtrack and figure out all these things. Like, but if you had it in place from the beginning, it would be a smooth process. So I think
Right.
it's important to
Okay.
have those systems in place from day one. Get your documentation in order, have your LLC, your EIN, your business bank account, your business insurance.
Hmm.
Have all of those things set up from day one.
Hmm. Okay. And I'm guilty. I used to, when I first started, I was like, oh, this is a side hustle. That was my play money. That was my play money when I first started. And then I got laid off from my government job. And so I didn't have my
Mhm.
W 2 anymore. And so then it wasn't just a side hustle. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I really need to take this seriously because
Yeah.
this is what I do now.
Yeah.
So
It,
yeah, I was
it quickly
guilty.
became serious.
It became very serious overnight.
Yeah, and it's just like I feel like if you had this mindset before, like you probably could have quit your job before you were let go. If you were taking it seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking about that too, because I'm doing better now, actually. I'm doing better now that I'm focused
yeah,
than before when I had my W 2 job. I was thinking getting illegally laid off from my government job was the best thing that ever happened to
yeah,
me.
yeah. But I just
Best
think
thing that ever happened to me.
no, I love that. But I think with that side hustle, sorry, we just have to be careful because I'm a very firm believer in that words have power. So it's like I'm not.
Mm,
I started my business like I spoke life into my business. I always spoke very highly, even when I was only making 20,000, 30,000 for the whole year. I still spoke very highly of my
right.
business because I knew where I wanted it to go.
Yes, yes. I love that. And I kind of did that. I was like one toe in, one toe out.
Mhm.
I was kind of did that in the beginning because I would get on the phone with people and instead of saying me like it was my thing, I would say we, but it was just me. But I'd say we do this and we don't accept this. We because I was trying to make it the end look like the
Yes,
beginning
absolutely,
look like my intended end goal.
absolutely. Hmm.
Yeah. Mhm. So you work with entrepreneurs every day.
Yes.
What separates the business owners who grow from the ones who stay stuck financially?
I feel like the thing that I see the most is really just people that are disciplined and dedicated to their business. Like people that say what they're going to do and they do it when they say they're going to do it. So, when I'm working with business owners, if I tell them, hey, I need this by such and such day, I need these reports, the ones that are successful in our business, they give me everything that I need
Mm,
problems, they meet the deadlines. But then it's like my business owners who are struggling, I feel like those are the ones that I'm constantly reaching out to, constantly having to haggle for me to get their documents, or the people that are not, just following my directions. And if I'm saying, hey, this is the plan that we mapped out, this is how you can save in your business, this is what you need to do. My people that are very successful, they take what I say to heart. They work the plan, they do the things that I ask them to do. My other clients, they're still on step one when they haven't even separated their personal finances from
mm,
their business finances yet. So I feel like people that are dedicated and disciplined are always going to be more successful than people that are not.
okay. Yep. And you actually focused on this type of business, right? Like group homes, co-living, assisted living.
Mhm.
That's kind of your niche,
Yes.
right? And how did you get there? How did you decide to start working
Um,
with those types of
they
business
kind of
owners?
just found me. So daycare, so most service-based business. So daycares, group homeowners, co-living, home health care agencies. I just looked up one day and that was majority of my clientele. Like I didn't
Yeah.
set that out for it to be that way, but it was just kind of, I work a lot on referrals. I would say 80% of my clientele is word of mouth referrals. So, I started with just
Oh,
helping a few daycare owners, and then they're recommending me to all their other friends that are daycare owners. And the same with group homes. They're recommending me to, their mentor group classes that they're in with other business owners that's group homes. And, it kind of just led to that. Now I was speaking at conferences for group homes and on,
yeah.
YouTube like this. So now I'm just very known in that market, in that area. But I didn't set out to do that at all. It kind of happened.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, but now
I'm
that I
glad
do
you're
do
with
it,
us.
I love it. Like I love working with service-based businesses. I love working with business owners, and I just love to, like I said, I love to help people that's helping people. And like with the co-living, that's such a good business model because you guys really are helping the people that are most in need. So it's like I love to help you
Mhm.
out because of the work that you're doing.
Awesome. So I know that when you're first starting out in your business and you don't have any business income, so you're using your personal money to start the business. And so for that first year, you need to document that you spent this much and it came from this account, your personal account. At what point do you need to not be doing that? You need to not be using your personal Is it like 5 years? Is it 2 years? Like at what point?
So I would say even if you are using your personal money to start, still put that personal money into a business bank account. You can still take
Oh, okay.
5,000 or 10,000 or however much you have to start up, take that money and put it into a business account, and that's called your owner's investment. So still put it in
Oh,
a business account, even if you're not making money. It's okay to use your personal money. That's how most businesses get started. You're going to get a loan or, funding, crowdsourcing, or whatever the case may be, but still put that money into a business account. And then
okay.
even if
That's
you're
much
not making
cleaner
money,
than.
that's okay so that you're not making money because you can claim up to $5,000 in startup expenses your first year without reporting any income. So it's okay that no
Mhm.
money is coming in, but you still need to track everything that's going out. But yeah, I would say
Right.
from day
Okay.
one, immediately, that's because
Yeah.
that's the thing that I would say that's one of another big mistake is mixing those personal and business funds or commingling. The IRS does not like that. So
Hmm.
so immediately, as soon as you have your LLC and your EIN, step number 3 is to open up that business bank account.
Right. Okay. Okay. Good. That's good to know for me because I mean, it took a long time before I was like really just this is business, this is personal. I would just document it on my little spreadsheet that this came out of my personal account. So instead, it would have been much cleaner if I had just taken those personal funds and put it into the
Put it
business
in
account.
business.
And then
Mhm.
everything is coming out of the business account.
Yep.
So I'm definitely gonna start doing that today. So thank you for that. Yeah, some of the stuff I've been doing, I'm sure you would probably pass out if you heard. I'm making you nervous.
A little.
A
Uh,
little bit.
I've seen, trust me, it's nothing that I haven't seen. Like I said, I've been in this business for almost 9 years. I mean, I worked in finance and corporate before that, so it's truly nothing that I have not seen. So I wouldn't,
Okay.
yeah. I'm
Okay,
sure I've
good.
seen worse, so it's
You're
okay.
making me sweat over here. So, what would you say to somebody who's I'm not intimidated by the financial
Mhm.
side. But I'm also I'm a risk taker, and I'm just like, I don't know, I'm gonna do this. But
Yeah.
what would you say to somebody who feels intimidated by this financial side of starting the business?
I see people be intimidated every day. They come to me, I do, intake calls where people are just so overwhelmed and they have so much anxiety. And I'm just like, okay, let's breathe.
Right.
Simmer down enough. It is okay. And because really the biggest thing is that they just don't know. So I think the fear of the unknown is really why people are intimidated, because it's like, once I look at these things, it's not as bad as what most people think it is. Like your finances are
Right.
probably not that much in disarray as you think it is. But yeah, so it's okay to be intimidated, but just know that pretty much everything is fixable. Everything can
Okay.
get managed correctly. Even if you messed up on your taxes, we can go back and amend them. Like it's nothing that's just set in concrete that's not fixable, that we can't be undone. So just take your time. And also that's why I talked about having those systems in place from day one, because if you already have those systems in place, then it makes everything a lot easier. Even if you don't have, it set up correctly. If you have your QuickBooks description, like, hey, I did download QuickBooks. I don't know if everything is right, but I have it. That's a start.
Okay.
That's a start.
Right.
It's just about having those proper, systems in place, and that's going to take away all of the anxiety and all of the doubt and the fear and everything. Just having those systems in place from day one. I cannot stress that enough.
Okay. Other than QuickBooks, is there anything else that we need to have already set on day one?
Just making sure that you have the proper account. So making sure that you do have your business bank account, you do have a business credit card, or even if it's a personal credit card, but you're using it strictly for business, just make sure that it's designated for that. Make sure that it's no commingling of funds, because it's okay if the credit card is in your name and you, oh, well, this is going to be for my business. I bought only business stuff on it. That's perfectly fine. It's just the code
Hmm.
is where the confusion and the chaos comes in at. So as long as everything
Okay. Got it.
separate, that's my biggest thing, is just don't commingle funds. As long as that is
Okay.
done, anything else is easy. But when you
Okay.
start commingling those funds, that just makes everything 10 times harder.
Hmm. Got it. Okay. So remove all my personal stuff expenses from that spreadsheet.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Got it.
And I think
Got it.
also think too is that a lot of people don't know exactly what business expenses are. I think people
Right.
are also unsure of, okay, can I write this off? Is this personal? Is this
Hmm.
business? So I think that's also where a lot of like the confusion and the anxiety comes in, because people don't know like what they can or cannot write off.
What are some of the things that people are legally missing out on deducting? You don't, and I know that you sell these services, so you don't have to tell us what you don't want, but just some little tidbits of things. It's like you could write that off.
No, it's okay. I don't gatekeep, as people say. I don't gatekeep. I don't
Okay,
share it.
thank you.
But I think the biggest thing is mileage and like the home office
Okay.
deduction. So mileage, whenever you're traveling back and forth to your different properties, whether you're going to buy supplies, anything that you're doing for your business, make sure that
Hmm.
you are keeping track of that mileage, because that is a
Okay.
huge expense that most business owners miss out on because they don't keep track of it. There are different
Hmm.
apps that you can download. I know there's like Mileage IQ and all different kind of apps that you can use to track your mileage. Or if you just write down the mileage, put it in your little notes. That's what I do. I have notes, the notes app on your phone. So whenever I have to drive to a client, I look at what my mileage is, before I leave, and then I look at what it is before I get back. And I just put the beginning and the end of it. And then you can
Mm.
put that on a spreadsheet. You can use the app, whatever it works for you. If you want to pen and paper, whatever works for you, just make sure that you are tracking that mileage. And then also the home office deduction. So if you have a space in your home that's dedicated just for work, just for your office, you want to make sure that you're getting those deductions, because a portion of your rent, a portion of your utilities, all those things can be claimed as write-offs on your taxes.
Nice. Okay, awesome. So for me, I fly to see my homes. So that entire trip is a tax deduction, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so like when I take a lift to go to the airport, I
Yeah.
get on the flight and then I use a rental car.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Oh,
Absolutely.
awesome.
If
Okay.
you're traveling to conduct business, and even
Hmm.
your meals as well are also deductible too.
So I didn't know that part. I've been deducting the Lyft ride, the flight, the hotel, and the rental car, but I
Yep.
did not deduct any meals.
Yep. And so
That's
you want
good
to
to
add
know.
those meals in.
Okay. All
Yep.
right.
Even your
I
meals
need
are
to book my next trip.
yeah. Now, the majority of the trip has to be business related.
Yeah, the whole
But
trip. Yeah,
yeah.
the whole trip is business. Hmm.
But yep, if you're
Okay.
gone for 5 days and four of those days worth of business, then yes, everything becomes deductible at that point.
Wow. Even Papados.
Even Papa Do's. So anytime I go away to a business conference, I eat real good.
Right. That's, yeah, that's what I'm thinking because we don't have Papados in LA. Okay. No, we don't have Papados.
I mean, I
Mm-mm.
know
Or
that.
Whataburger.
Well, no, I know we don't have Whataburger. We don't have that here either. But I thought Papa Do's was everywhere.
Okay. No, we don't have that. So, okay, cool. So, how can people reach you?
So the easiest way to reach me is to visit my website online. That's F as in freedom, E as in elite, taxes.com. So fetaxes.com is the best way to reach me. You can schedule
Okay.
a onboarding call. You can schedule a discovery call. So that way, if you just want to learn more about my services or see if we are a great fit, you can definitely go ahead and book a discovery call.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you, Chalisa, for taking time out of your day to talk to us. I really appreciate that. And if you have one last piece of advice that you want to leave with our audience today, what would that be?
Thank you again so much, Katrina, for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you and speaking with your audience. One last piece of advice I would say is that don't let the fear of unknown stop you from getting started. Every successful entrepreneur had to start at some point the same way that you were starting, and they learned along the way. So just make sure that you start. It's okay if you don't have everything in order. Again, just start, learn along the way. You can learn from people like me, learn from people like Katrina, and don't let the fear of the unknown keep you from moving.
Awesome. Thank you again. You're amazing. I will talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Have a good
All
day.
right. You too. Bye bye.